up, and it'll be passed on to my son.
Find out more next time on Antiques Roadshow from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Monday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
They're pointing over there and they're saying, that's the black flag of ISIS.
Shia militias are helping push ISIS out of Iraq, but at what cost?
They're as scared of the militias as they are of ISIS.
Frontline correspondent Ramita Navai investigates.
Tuesday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Deanne Griebel, now with Moores & Cabot Investments, serving investors since 1890, proudly supports quality programming on 8 Arizona PBS, 480-725-9602.
Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers, providing personalized treatment options through research trials, genetic testing, and counseling, focused on emotional, physical, and social support, outsmarting cancer one patient at a time.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Beginning today, the United States of America gets back control of its borders.
A campaign promise is now on the fast track. Team coverage on President Trump's plan to build a wall along the Mexico border.
And the big impact on our border towns, our Cronkite News team takes to Nogales for a reaction.
Plus, a closer look at public safety and the effectiveness of police body cameras.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Anthony Mitchell.
And I'm Veronica Acosta. Thank you for joining us. President Donald Trump took his first steps towards reshaping immigration enforcement today. President Trump signed executive orders calling for the construction of a U.S.-Mexico border wall.
I just signed 2 executive orders that will save thousands of lives, millions of jobs, and billions of dollars. We are going to get the bad ones out, the criminals and the drug deals and gangs and gang members and cartel leaders. The day is over when they can stay in our country and wreak havoc. We are going to get them out, and we're going to get them out fast. And John Kelly is going to lead that way.
President Trump told the audience at the Department of Homeland Security the executive office and DHS are set to launch immediate construction of a border wall. His order also calls for the hiring of 5,000 more border officers and tripling the number of immigration and custom enforcement agents. Trump also called for establishing a specific office within Homeland Security to aid victims of illegal immigrant crime. 2 Arizona families that blame illegal immigration for the deaths of their loved ones met with President Trump today. Sergeant Brandon Mendoza was a Mesa police officer killed on the job. Grant Ronenbeck died in a holdup at a convenience store. Both were killed by a person in the country illegally, and their relatives have been part of the movement to crack down on the border.
Closer to the border, residents are sending mixed signals about today's announcement. A team of Cronkite News reporters traveled today from Phoenix to Nogales, Arizona, a primary point of entry along the Arizona-Mexico border. Cassidy McDonald joins us there live.
Nogales is one of the many southern Arizona communities that has been closely watching the efforts to build a new wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. The community counts on good relations with Mexico as an important part of its economy. Now, with the official announcement, the mayor told me just a few moments ago that he's concerned about what impact a new wall will have and a new policy will have on the community.
Actually, there's a somber mood. It's something that a lot of the folks here had been hearing this question and or maybe action that was going to be taken. And so it doesn't come as a surprise, but as a disappointment. I think most of the people in the community were hoping he would shy away from the wall or hoping that the project of the wall just continues adding to the fence that's already there in place. Because there's some areas that need to be improved on and worked on. But a wall is not the answer for our safety or to keep terrorists out.
The mayor of Nogales isn't the only one expressing concern. We're gathering additional feedback to the president's executive order, and we'll bring that to you in the hours and days ahead here on Cronkite News. Live in Nogales, Arizona, this is Cassidy McDonald.
The Associated Press is reporting that the Mexican president is considering canceling a planned trip to Washington following Trump's border wall order. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey told a group of reporters today that he's not concerned about relationships with Mexico, but he's pleased about the renewed focus on the Mexican border and security.
I'm glad we're no longer being neglected by Washington, D.C., that our southern border counties are going to have some attention and some public safety.
But are you concerned about the message it sends? We export a lot of stuff to Mexico. Are you concerned about the message the wall sends?
I was in Mexico City 10 days ago talking with their Secretary of State and business leaders. I want to continue to have economic development and growth. This is about public safety, drug cartels, and human trafficking, getting criminal activity off the board. But that's what I want to do.
Back to business. You've been trying.
An exclusive Cronkite News Univision Dallas Morning News poll conducted in border towns last summer showed that the majority of those polled did not favor building a new wall. People who live in the region largely view themselves as one community, and the poll showed that the majority of residents believed in making it easier to cross back and forth across the border. The poll was the first of its kind in more than 15 years and reflects the attitudes of nearly 1,500 respondents in 14 U.S. and Mexican cities from California to Texas. 72% of respondents on the U.S. side and 86% of those interviewed on the Mexican side said they are opposed to building a wall, and many believe the current presidential campaign at the time was hurting the region. To check out the full multimedia investigation, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
President Trump also signed an executive order today on so-called sanctuary cities. He's stripping funding for communities which don't arrest or detain immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. Tomorrow, Cronkite News will take you to one California sanctuary city, which is deciding what to do next in the wake of the president's decision.
Researchers alongside Tempe police worked closely to observe the effectiveness of body-worn cameras.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how the study changed in the community. The Cronkite News investigative team takes a closer look.
Plus, while Arizona has yet to pass a distracted driving bill, California has some of the stricter laws regarding cell phone use while driving.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
A team of researchers worked with the Tempe Police Department to study the effects of body-worn cameras. Cronkite News investigator Natalie Tarangoli learned about the study's early results.
This video of a Tempe police officer chasing a fleeing suspect last October was recorded with a body-worn camera. An Arizona State University professor led a study on widespread effects of body-worn cameras.
One of the things that we were very interested in capturing was officer attitudes about body-worn cameras.
The 2-year-long study started in November 2015. Phase 1 meant half of the Tempe Police Patrol, about 100 officers, wore the cameras.
I've conducted surveys with officers in a number of different departments, and by far Tempe's officers have been the most supportive of the technology.
Less than 10 ASU graduate students made up White's research team. They interviewed citizens about the cameras, how they felt they were treated, and if it affected their behavior around the officer.
The study done by ASU showed that most people approved of the officers using body-worn cameras.
Nearly 90% of the citizens strongly agreed that the officers treated them with respect, treated them fairly, they were honest, they listened, they cared, and they acted professionally.
White's team got feedback from nearly 400 people. Phase 2 just finished in November, so all patrol officers have cameras. Half have had them for a year now.
In Tempe, the officers have been very supportive of the technology for the most part, and what we were able to document over time is that any sort of concern or questions they had really dissipated after officers started wearing the cameras.
Despite the widespread approval, the cameras are limited.
At certain times, just because you have the front view of what's going on, you don't know what's going on behind the officer. You don't know if somebody's assaulting them, if somebody's pointing something at them from a different angle.
As for the 10% of people who didn't approve of the cameras, White said their main concern with being recorded was privacy.
Because something bad had happened, and now they were concerned that this was memorialized on film.
Tempe police wear cameras that record 30 seconds prior to actually turning them on.
Double tap. It's now recording.
But the American Civil Liberties Union of Arizona advocates for more.
For an automatic turn on for a body camera, say when there are raised voices or when there's jostling of the police officer's body.
White expects the results to be released this spring, giving insight on the impact of the cameras in areas like use of force and citizen complaints.
I'm curious to see in Tempe whether there's a temporary effect on complaints or if it's going to, that reduction is going to persist.
In the meantime, Tempe Police is doing what they can to increase transparency.
We are trying to implement where officers, when they are en route to a call, to turn on the cameras to avoid forgetting.
In Tempe, Natalie Tarangeli, Cronkite News.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above 20,000 points for the first time today, the latest milestone in a record-setting drive for the stock market. Several other major U.S. indexes also closed at all-time highs. Arizona wants to become a high-tech hub. Today, state leaders met to find out what it will take to be on the cutting edge. Fry Bennett attended today's DigiCity event.
Governor Doug Ducey and many other Phoenix officials team up together to figure out what will be the next generation of future technology here in Arizona. And that future includes increased access to high-speed internet, 5G cell phone networks, and driverless cars all over the state. The effort starts in Phoenix, and tech group DigiCity's goal is to use connected technology to help cities become more efficient.
I think every community, large or small, around the U.S. and around the world really wants to do this. They're just not quite sure how. So by hosting these events and talking with leaders all around the country, I'm really hoping to get their insights and publish those in a series of checklists.
The Arizona Chamber of Commerce President Glenn Hammer wants to encourage lawmakers to think ahead, especially as new laws will need to govern this new technology.
Driverless cars. We've got Uber and Google and GM all doing important things in the state of Arizona. So what I boiled down from this from this event today is how important it is for us to have the policies that we need so that we could get to the fastest possible internet speeds as fast as possible.
Collier also said she hopes cities like Phoenix will remove the burdens of policies that get in the way of innovation. In Phoenix, Fry Bennett, Cronkite News.
A federal agency says that levels of uranium which were found in a spring at Grand Canyon National Park are not related to nearby mining activity. Instead, the elevated levels are more likely due to a natural source. A U.S. Geological Survey says Pigeon Springs had elevated uranium levels in samples taken from 2012 to 2014 in comparison with similar springs. The Grand Canyon is home to part of the Colorado River, a primary water source for millions of people in the U.S. and Mexico.
Coming up, Allstate Insurance says yoga can help your driving.
A program that promotes focus for commuters. What this yoga class offers to reduce distracted driving.
And it's a gorgeous, clear day out there in Phoenix, but how long will our pattern of cooler temperatures last? I'll have your full forecast coming up.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Good, 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 good to be alive right about now. Hallelujah, let that bassline move us. It's good to be alive right about now. I think I finally found right about now.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
It is a familiar theme at the Arizona State Legislature each year. We're of course talking about the annual push for a statewide distracted driving law, an effort that has repeatedly failed. Yet, as Chantel De La Guia reports from Los Angeles, California voters have made their measure even tougher.
5 seconds. Researchers say that's how long it takes for the brain to become distracted while driving, which makes sense to millennial driver Taylor Villanueva.
With the new laws, I've had to get a mount for my phone and put it on my dash. But it's also kind of cool because it's holding me accountable, so I'm not constantly looking at my phone when I'm at a stoplight.
Chris Cochran of the California Office of Traffic Safety says it takes about 4 to 5 seconds to read the average text and another 1.5 to 2 seconds for the brain to react quickly before an accident.
If you're talking on a cell phone, up to 37% of the brain's activity that's needed for the act of driving can be moved over for the act of talking.
With the increasing use of social media apps while driving, previous laws still allow drivers to make unsafe decisions.
So California's distracted driving law has become even more restrictive. Drivers may only use handheld devices in their cars if they are mounted to the dashboard, don't hinder their view, and can be used with a simple swipe or tap.
It has filled that void which was caused because of smartphones and apps coming into being.
State Senator Steve Farley has been trying to pass a no texting law for over a decade in Arizona.
There have been dramatic increases in just in the last few years when you have that more attention-intensive apps coming out.
Which is why Farley says this year may be different.
I'm looking forward to finally, once we have a law in the books, we'll join the rest of the country now.
But for now, the lawmaker will continue to look at California with envy. In Santa Monica, Chantel De La Guia, Cronkite News.
It was Aguila, my apologies. A statewide coalition of advocates demanding action to combat distracted driving is set to arrive at the Capitol sometime today.
Arizona may not have a law against texting and driving, but two organizations have partnered to find a common route to safer driving. Cronkite News reporter Danielle Kernkamp found out it may start with yoga.
Thomas Wheeler breathes deep, balancing his 1-year-old Helena. Her safety always top of mind.
Having kids, you want to protect them.
So he's taking time to focus and better handle his morning commute.
Making sure that they're aware of being safe was a huge thing for me.
Exhale, crawl your hands to the back of your mat forward.
Allstate Insurance and Core Power Yoga say they've come up with a strategy to lower Arizona's distracted driving rates, which, according to Arizona's Department of Transportation, caused nearly 100,000 accidents in 2015.
Phones ringing, texts buzzing, and tempting social media feeds. So it can be difficult to stay focused behind the wheel, and yoga can actually help us be more mindful drivers.
Arizona does have a handheld phone ban, but it applies only to school bus drivers, and even that doesn't ban texting.
And knowing that we need to put them away while we're driving is really important.
The National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health says yoga can reduce blood pressure and relieve anxiety.
As you practice yoga, you understand being kind to yourself, nonviolence towards yourself, and that also is while on the road as well.
Finnan says a yoga class teaches patience that can be applied to driving.
And you're probably less likely to cut your neighbor off or be on your phone and you just embrace the energy that you've cultivated through your practice.
Wheeler says that yoga creates a mood that already helps to calm his 1-year-old.
Say hi. Bye-bye. Not bye-bye, say hi.
In Phoenix, Danielle Kernkamp, Cronkite News.
There is a new bill being proposed in the legislature, Senate Bill 1135, which would make it illegal to talk, text, or even read your handheld device while driving.
The head of the Navajo Nation has declared a state of emergency after winter storms have struck the reservation, extending from Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. The Navajo Nation is in need of wood, coal, water, medication, and food. Storm conditions have made road travel dangerous. Navajo chapter members have been allowed to use emergency funds for their time of need. And roads are beginning to reopen in Flagstaff after winter storms brought heavy snow to the area the past few days. The snow is also bringing good news to the area. Snowpack has now reached 58%, according to KTAR and a spokesperson at Salt River Project. Snowpack in the Verde River system is now 200% above average. This is good news for Arizona's water supply, especially if more winter storms occur. Lauren Hornberger is in the Weather Center with a look at how cooler temperatures could affect your week.
That's right. It is nice to see the snow helping our Arizona snowpack, but it's good to have a nice little break from those snowstorms. As you see, only a few little showers left of snow up in northern Arizona tomorrow around 4 p.m. and then into your weekend, we're going to see clear skies throughout the entire state on Friday afternoon. Now your current temperatures across the state, 20s in the Grand Canyon and Flagstaff, low 50s near Tucson, and then 62 in Yuma. In the valley, you've got mid to high 50s right now, even 60 in Goodyear. You've got 57 in Phoenix and 54 in Mesa. Looking into the rest of your evening, we're going to see those temperatures drop down. It's going to be around 45, 43 degrees around midnight. Nice clear skies. But what we really want to focus on is those temperatures dropping even further into the early morning hours. If you're outside this morning, it was chilly for us here in Arizona, and that's going to happen again tomorrow. We can see temperatures even hitting 32 degrees in some areas and up to 38. Those are your lows for tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. So bundle your kids up if they're going to school. You're going to need lots of layers out at those bus stops. Now looking into the rest of your week, we're going to have one more morning where it's going to be pretty cold on Friday morning, low of 36. But as we get into the rest of your week, we're going to see 69 on Sunday, and then next week, clear, gorgeous, sunny skies in the 70s. It's going to be a great week ahead. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Lauren Hornberger.
A father, master's student, and the two-time rock and roll marathon winner.
This man won't let anything get in his way. A Cronkite News exclusive, how this Flagstaff father is training for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
April's Final Four marks the third straight year the Valley will host a major championship sporting event following the Super Bowl and college football championship game. Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton said the experience has given the Valley plenty of time to perfect the art of hosting these events and all that come with them.
That's the thing, it's not just about basketball, it's about all the other events that families around this valley will be able to experience. We learned lessons from that about how to organize it better.
Over the course of the four-day experience that begins March 31st, events will include FanFest at the Phoenix Convention Center, the March Madness Musical Festival at Margaret T. Hance Park, open practices at University of Phoenix Stadium, and Final Four youth clinics.
After winning the Arizona Rock and Roll Marathon this year, Flagstaff's Tommy Puzzi became the first ever back-to-back winner. But as Cronkite sports reporter Jake Garcia tells us, there's more to Puzzi's story than simply running success.
Tommy Puzzi's days start with 5 a.m. wake-up calls. Most often to study for a physical therapy doctorate, he expects to complete at NAU this spring.
Yeah, that Scandinavian model of a 30-hour work week looks pretty good.
Other times it's to shovel the driveway so his wife and 3 daughters aren't snowed in all day. By 7 a.m., he begins an 11-mile commute on foot to the rehab facility where he works.
You know, running 130 miles a week and then trying to have some kind of meaningful relationship with not only the kids but with my wife.
Of course, it could be tough sometimes with the sacrifices and the time that he's gone, but I think just alone him pursuing his dreams and having our children be able to see a parent that's so dedicated to that goal, I think is just incredible.
Once he finishes his degree, Pusey will turn his focus to the pursuit of a childhood dream, the Olympic trials for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Ditching the knee-deep snow back in Flagstaff will be an important part of Pusey's training for the Olympic trials. His workouts will become more pace-focused, which means shedding a few layers of clothing and finding a lower elevation, like 30 miles south here at Camp Verde.
He runs to school and back every day, which is great for volume, but it's not necessarily great for speed. So if he could find a way to get out and do some real specific workouts specific to the pace that he needs to run to get to the trials, I think that would help him.
2 hours, 19 minutes is the eventual target time for Pusey, a pace he was just over at his recent win. In Flagstaff, Jake Garcia, Cronkite News.
Pusey said he plans on racing again in Arizona in February, then the Boston Marathon in April, followed by the Chicago Marathon in October. He said he will use those races as gauges for his subsequent Olympic trials training.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
Arizona Horizon will hear from Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes, and we'll learn about a program designed to help those with early-stage memory loss. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm John Yang. On the next NewsHour, exploring the effectiveness of psychedelic drugs to treat mental health issues, part of our Leading Edge series. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
This is one of nature's more mysterious creatures. Just ask Ana Salceda. 10 years ago, she adopted an orphan sloth named Velcro.
For 2 years, we were inseparable. Velcro changed my life.
Now, sloths are in danger. Driven by her memories of Velcro, Ana is off to meet the people trying to help these animals before it's too late.
Tonight at 7 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS. A community